What's up, dummies? Today's video is going to be a banger because we're about to react to some disturbing cold cases that were recently solved. You see, on my channel, I like to react to a ton of scary videos, cases that were like never solved, people who went missing, people who disappeared, crazy things that's happened. But today, we're reacting to crazy, creepy cases that were actually solved so we can see who did these things. And this video is going to have a good ending. Let's watch this. Let's go.
Danielle Houchins. It was the morning of September 21st, 1996. 15-year-old Danielle Houchins left her house at around 11 a.m. She was angry as she'd had an argument with her family that morning. To calm down, she drove her truck to Cameron Bridge, a peaceful hiking and fishing area near to where she lived in Montana. Hours passed and Danielle did not return home. Her family began to get worried, so went out looking for her. Because Danielle would go there often, the first place they looked was Cameron Bridge. But when her family arrived, they would make a disturbing discovery. Danielle's truck was in the parking lot, unlocked and empty. And a few feet away, her car keys lay on the ground.
Wait, what? Her car was unlocked and empty, and her car keys were on the ground. That means somebody must have definitely like tried to steal her car or something. She's only like 15 years old, bro.
Clear something was seriously wrong. For 2 frantic hours, her family searched for her, yelling and screaming her name. But when this proved to be hopeless, they decided to call the police. At 5 p.m., police arrived on scene, as did a search and rescue team. But it was getting dark, making the search increasingly difficult.
The thing also about this is this was in 1991, I'm pretty sure he said. So there was no way that they had like a phone or like, you know, nowadays if you go missing, it's like, oh, I can see his location on the phone. But back then, like, they didn't know where you went. There was no phones.
Wow. Mainly due to the water and marshes in the area. Because of this, officials were forced to suspend the search until morning. But 2 brothers who lived nearby and knew the area well ignored this, deciding to keep searching through the night. And after about 45 minutes of searching, they made a discovery that would scar them for life. In the marshes, they found Danielle's lifeless body. The brothers said it was clear that she had been subject to a brutal attack and had been dragged and hidden in this spot. An examination also confirmed she had been violated before she passed away. Her body was sent to the Montana State Crime Lab, where DNA that did not belong to Danielle was found. But a state medical examiner said that she had drowned and listed the manner of death as undetermined.
What? So they said they found somebody's DNA on her body, but they don't know how she died? How did she drown if somebody else's DNA was on her body? That means, I mean, her car was literally parked, unlocked, with nothing in the car. Like, somebody obviously robbed her car and robbed her. Her car keys wouldn't be on the ground if she just went to the woods randomly to go swimming and accidentally drowned. The car keys would be like in her pocket or something. Like, dude, what?
A move that was later criticized heavily, as Danielle's family were led to believe her passing could have been an accident. This caused a massive amount of tension between the family and the police.
Somebody did something.
With police even making public statements, saying that it could have been an accidental drowning. One sheriff named Cindy Botek said that crucial evidence was ignored. She attempted to reinvestigate the case in 2006, but was stonewalled by her superiors.
Wow, so it had been almost 15 years and they just said that she accidentally drowned. No, someone must have killed her, bro. The good thing about this video is these are cases that were solved. So I think they're gonna figure out what actually happened to her, but it's gonna be like 20 years later.
August of 2023, nearly 27 years after Danielle's death.
27 years later?
Sheriff Dan Springer changed the official manner of death from undetermined to homicide. This was based on a re-examination of the evidence by private investigator Tom Elfmont. A year later, in 2024, the case would have a major breakthrough. 4 arm hairs that had been found at the crime scene were reanalyzed, using technology that did not exist decades back.
They found somebody's arm hair on her body, and they can figure out who that is through arm hair? Dude, the world is so advanced. How can you tell whose arm hair it is? Don't we all have like the same arm hair?
For examining the arm hairs, a DNA profile was obtained. This was then entered into the FBI's DNA database, which contains DNA profiles from criminals and crime scenes all over the USA. However, the search showed no matches, meaning the perpetrator's DNA was not in the FBI's system. Undeterred by this, the investigators tried a new approach: forensic genetic genealogy. You see, if you have DNA from a crime scene, you can match it to a relative, if that relative's DNA is already on the FBI's database. And to investigate a surprise, this worked.
Wait, Wait, what? So if, let's say, okay, this is a whole hypothetical situation. Let's say I did a crime and I accidentally had a little bit of my arm hair fall off on that crime, but I wasn't in the criminal system, so they couldn't find me through my arm hair. But if like my grandpa committed a crime and they had his arm hair DNA, they could attach me to my grandpa. What the hell?
To narrow their search down to a 55-year-old man, Paul Hutchinson from Dillon, Montana. On July 23, 2024, investigators went to Paul's home. Their goal was to question Paul, but investigators were not prepared for what would happen during the interview. Paul acted extremely nervously, sweating, scratching his face, and even chewing his hand. But the most revealing moment came when Paul was shown a photo of Danielle. Upon seeing the photo, Paul slumped in his chair and showed serious discomfort. While this wasn't evidence, it did catch investigators' attention.
True. Like okay, so let's say if this guy was the one who actually like did that to the girl, if they showed him a photo 20 years later of the girl, if he did it, he'd be like panicking a little bit, trying not to look weird. But if he didn't do it, he'd be like, who is that girl? Like if somebody came up to you and was like, do you know this girl? You'd be like, no, what the hell? But if you did know her and you did commit the crime, you'd be like, no. And you'd be so nervous. So let's see if this is actually him. And they caught him from his arm hair. What?
The interview, the investigators left Paul's home, but they could never imagine what would happen next. Around 10 hours after the interview, Paul would call the police. He sounded distressed and said he needed help, but before giving any information, abruptly ended the call. When police
What? So after they interviewed him and tried to see if it was him, they couldn't figure out if it was him because there was no proof. But then later that night, he called back. He called the cops and he was like, I need help. Why? Why is he calling the cops? Maybe he feels guilty, or maybe somebody's like haunting him. Let's see.
So they found his body on the side of the road. He had a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This was seen by investigators as an admission of guilt. Police later confirmed that the arm hairs found at Danielle's crime scene were a 100% match to Paul's DNA, meaning that Paul Hutchinson likely realized his time was up, after believing for nearly 3 decades that he'd gotten away with ending Danielle's life. Abby and Libby.
So this guy was actually the person who did it, but once they figured out that it was probably him through the arm hairs, he was so guilty that he ended up, oh man, I mean, he's guilty, but it always sucks to hear that stuff happen. All right, let's see the next case, bro. That is crazy, but I'm glad the family has hope now, because the family lived their whole life thinking she drowned or whatever. No, I'm glad they know what happened to her.
Libby. It was February 13th, 2017 in Delphi, Indiana. 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German decided to go on a hike near Monon High Bridge. Their parents were skeptical at first, thinking it may be dangerous to allow their kids to hike in this area by themselves. But Abby and Libby were persuasive, so were eventually dropped off near the bridge at around 1 p.m. 1 hour into the hike, Libby posted this photo to Snapchat, showing Abby walking on a bridge. 1 hour later at 3 p.m., Libby's father pulled up to the bridge, expecting to pick the girls up, as they had agreed to meet at that time and place. But Abby and Libby never showed up. Anxious, Libby's father called the police. A search party was formed, but the following day, a gruesome discovery would be made, with the girls' bodies being found near the Monon High Bridge. Near the girls, Libby's cell phone would also be found, and what investigators found on it shook them to their core. Libby had secretly recorded this video of the man who would moments later take Libby and Abby's lives.
Oh my God.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there. So
Dude, this is creepy. This little girl was recording a video because this guy was like kind of creepy. Like I've recorded tons of videos in the past of like weird people. Like there's like, dude, no way.
Get down here. Hi.
You can hear the girls nervously whispering if the man is still there. You can then hear footsteps before the voice of their killer. Abby and Libby were ordered down the hill at gunpoint before—
Oh my God. Oh my God. He just said Abby and Libby, these two girls, were ordered by the guy to go down the hill at gunpoint. Yo, listen to this.
So we have to get down here.
I gotta replay this.
Hi.
You can hear the—
Wow. He says, guys, go down the hill. And then they immediately start running down the hill. They listen to everything he says because he had a— Oh. she doesn't know that she actually recorded the killer. So she's gonna, I mean, even though I think they ended up dying, but it's good that she ended up recording her final moments to at least prove that he was guilty, because he probably would have never been found. They're all the way out in the woods. Okay, let's keep on watching. This is the last time I'm pausing the video. This is just such a sad case.
Nervously whispering if the man is still there. You can then hear footsteps before the voice of their killer. Abby and Libby were ordered down the hill at gunpoint before both of their lives were ended. Police quickly released images of this man. Delphi was a small town of less than 3,000 people, so police were confident someone would come forward, but no one ever did.
Really?
Despite his image and voice being caught on camera, no one seemed to know who this man was. The case would go cold for years. That was until September 2022.
Wow.
Investigators received a tip about a man named Richard Allen. 1 month later, Richard was taken into custody, but there was no actual evidence Richard had done the crime. He lived less than 5 minutes from the Monon High Bridge, living there with his wife and daughter. In December of 2021, Richard posted a photo of himself to Facebook, smiling in front of a police sketch of the suspect, with the photo apparently being taken in his home. At the crime scene, police had found an unspent .40 caliber round. It was determined the round had been put into a 6-Sauer P226, a firearm owned by Richard Allen. When police asked him about this, he said he never let anyone use or borrow his firearms. Richard had been working at a CVS pharmacy. When the girls had gone missing, Libby's grandmother had gone to that very CVS in order to print missing persons posters of the girls, and Richard did not charge Libby's grandmother for the printing, which is incredibly sinister given what we now know.
How did a bullet from your gun get out there?
I don't know.
Because they said it came from our gun.
I know.
Wow. So they said that his gun that he owned, there was a bullet of his gun near the girls. Oh, man.
That's what believe me, that's what they're telling me.
But how did it get there?
I don't know.
Richard pled not guilty, but Richard had made various incriminating statements. On December 20th, 2024, Richard Allen was sentenced to 130 years in prison, nearly 7 years after stealing the lives of these 2 young girls. Mary Shalane.
Okay, so what? I mean, I don't know where the proof is, but I mean, technically, if you look at this guy, he does kind of fit the description of the guy that was caught on the video. I mean, like, this kind of does look like him. Not gonna lie, like, it kind of does look like him. But the weirdest part about this is that in December 2021, he posted a photo of himself on Facebook with his wife. But in the back of the photo in his house, there's the sketch of the killer. The police sketched out the killer, what the killer looks like. Why would he hang up the sketch? That's just really, really weird. I don't really know if I believe that he's guilty or not, but it's just so sad that these 2 girls were actually recording them having fun. And then, oh man.
Mary Shalane. On
Alright, here's the
February
next one.
15th, 1974,
74?
a horrifying discovery was made in Spring Brook, Wisconsin.
Wow.
The body of 25-year-old Mary Shalane from Minneapolis was found, sparking
Wow.
a case that would go unsolved for 5 decades. Mary, who was a student,
50
had been
years?
hitchhiking from Minneapolis to Chicago. In the
Okay.
1970s, hitchhiking was a common way young people would get around. So on February 15th, Mary would begin her journey, not knowing that on the same day, her journey and life would be cut short. A little over 1 hour into her trip, someone had ended her life, using a blade multiple times. Not much
What?
evidence was found at the crime scene, other than this cap, which presumably belonged to the killer. Mary's body was found by a local man named Denny Anderson. Denny said that a few hours prior, he had seen what appeared to be 2 people fighting, but he thought nothing of it and continued driving. But when he was driving back home past the same location, he saw Mary's body in the snow. Denny said
Wow.
the man she had been seen with had been driving a gold-colored car. Based on Denny's description, this sketch of the suspect was circulated. Police issued a nationwide alert, publishing Mary's photos and the sketch of the
I
suspect.
mean, dude, the sketch of the suspect, he looks like a weirdo who would kill somebody.
But the case went cold for the next 50 years. In 2023, the case would take a dramatic turn. Police decided to examine hairs from the cap and use forensic genetic genealogy. But this is where investigators would encounter a big challenge. The suspect's DNA DNA led them to a family tree, but the suspect did not fit into it in an obvious way, leading police to believe the suspect might have been adopted, making things even more complex. Soon, though, police identified a potential lead, a man named John Miller. Police determined he may have been adopted from the family identified by the DNA. John also had a daughter, so police went to interview the daughter and her mother. Surprisingly, the daughter agreed to give police her genetic profile, leading investigators to a terrifying discovery. The hair on the cap did in fact belong to John Miller. On November 7th, 2024, investigators went to John Miller's house in order to question him about Mary. At first, John denied any knowledge of the crime, but when he was shown the DNA evidence, his demeanor completely changed. He said he had picked up Mary when she was hitchhiking, and when she was in his car had tried to flirt with her. But when Mary rejected him, he ended her life using a blade. John even admitted the cap was his. On March 27th, 2025.
The thing is, he's so old now. Like, he didn't pick her up when he was that old. This happened in 1975. This clip right here is from 2024. So that's 49 years. Yeah, I just did quick math. I think it might be wrong. But 49 years ago, he was like 40 years old. Now he's like 90. Dude, what the... Oh my God, imagine like you commit a crime and then you live your whole life and you fully think you're gonna get away with it. And then one day they just catch you.
John Miller was sentenced to life in prison for
life in prison, bro. He's about to die in 2 years.
Mary Schlatz's life 50 years prior. John is now 85 years old, meaning that while justice did take a long time, he will spend his final days behind bars, having to think about the evil crime he committed all those decades ago.
I mean, he should have been in jail a long time ago, bro. He lived 50 years knowing he did this crime and he never got punished for it. That's just messed up.
Long Island serial killer. The Long Island serial killer is a name given to the man responsible for the Long Island murders. It's believed the serial killer has taken around 11 people's lives, with the majority of them being young women. The killer was known to dump the bodies along the Ocean Parkway. Police began investigating in May of 2010. A 24-year-old woman named Shannon Gilbert had called 911. She was fleeing the area after a meetup with a man had gone wrong. She made a call to 911, saying that someone was after her, and that they were trying to kill her, but she did not say her exact location. A police unit and a dog went to the area. Shannon was not found, but instead, police would make an even more disturbing discovery. 4 separate women's bodies were found. A few months later, in December, Shannon's body was found, and in March of 2011, another woman's body was found. The month after that, the remains of an unidentified girl, an unidentified Asian male, and a woman named Valerie Mack were also found, all in the same general area. Soon after, police found 2 more bodies. Police knew they had a serial killer on their hands,
so many people?
but for over a decade, the case went cold. That was until 2022. Thanks to new technology, the case was reopened. Police re-examined cell phone data and found the killer had used burner phones to contact the victims. These burner phones led police to a man named Rex Heuermann, an unlikely suspect. He was a well-respected married father, working as an architect in New York. In July of 2023, he was indicted and arrested. Investigators examined Rex's cell phones and found he was pinged near 3 of the victims. Police also found an uneaten pizza crust in Rex's trash, and using this, linked his DNA to one of the victims.
Dude, imagine you're eating pizza and you're like, okay, I don't like the crust. You eat it and you don't eat the crust. And then that crust, they use the pizza crust with your spit and saliva on it to attach you to a crime.
Also found numerous burner phones owned by Rex. Disturbingly, one of those burner phones belonged to one of the victims, which Rex even used to contact the victim's family, saying, "I killed her." As of October 2025, Rex is being held at Riverhead Correctional Facility in New York. No trial date has been set, but it could begin in 2026. It really is unsettling to know that a successful family man could actually be a modern-day serial killer hiding in plain sight.
Bro, that is crazy. They said that he was a businessman. He had a bunch of businesses. He had a big family. How could he just get away with all that? I mean, he didn't get away with it because he's in jail now, but this is crazy. I like reacting to these ones that were solved. Let me know if I should do more of this. This is cool. What's up, dummies? So I was just on YouTube and I saw this video right here. It says 5 disturbing crimes caught on Google Street View. Bro, what the hell? If you don't know what Google Street View is, it's like the thing where you can like go onto Google and you can look at streets. Obviously, I mean, it's in the name. Have you ever used Google Street View to like look at your street and stuff? Well, apparently there are 5 crimes that were caught using Google Street View. So people were just looking on Google. I gotta see this. This is gonna be creepy as hell. Some creepy crimes that were caught Oh my gosh. Let's go.
A Google Street View car captured what looked like the aftermath of a horrific crime in the small Spanish town of Tahueco. It captured a man loading a large white bag into the trunk of his car.
This dude got caught by Google Street. Imagine you're just like, okay, this is gonna be crazy, but imagine you just, took somebody out like this guy did, and you're putting them in your car, and then you see a Google Street View car drive by with a big old camera on it. You're like,
Easily could have
that would be
an
hilarious.
innocent explanation. However, many noted that the bag's shape looked a lot like a human body.
that's somebody's head
and
right there, bro.
unfortunately, that is exactly what it turned out to be.
No way.
The bag contained the remains of a 32-year-old Cuban man named
What?
Jorge Luis Perez.
He looks cool as hell, bro. This looks like somebody I could play basketball
He had
with.
gone missing in November 2023 after sending a message to his family saying he was leaving Soria, the place he had lived, with a girl he had met, and that he would no longer be using that phone.
He left his town with a girl, and he ended up dead, bro. This is why we don't deal with women, bro. Let the women come to you. Don't follow the women, everybody.
One of his cousins found this highly suspicious and reported his disappearance to the police. However, despite the investigators' best efforts, they were unable to find any clues that could help them find Jorge.
So he was
There were no
missing.
witnesses or any surveillance footage that could point them in the right direction.
Wow. And then he got
So the
caught
case
from
went
the
cold for
Google
months.
Street View?
Or at least until one of the investigators came across the Google Street View images in November 2024. Coincidentally, the Street View car had also captured the same man carrying the white plastic bag and
my
a
gosh.
wheelbarrow on the way to his car.
So so this is literally him that's crazy. How are they going to be able to identify him? There's no license plate on the pictures. You can't really tell who he is.
These images proved to be the final piece in solving the mystery of Jorge's disappearance.
How do you know who he is?
They were able to narrow down the list of potential suspects by tracing the vehicle back to its owner,
Okay.
a 48-year-old Tahueco resident named Manuel Isla Gallardo, who worked
You're
at the town
screwed.
hall in the neighboring town.
You're screwed,
However,
buddy.
Manuel had no prior history of violence or any other illegal activity, making it difficult for the authorities to arrest him without any solid evidence. But after tapping his phone and trailing him for a couple of weeks, the investigators uncovered the connection they were looking for.
Oh, snap.
He was in a relationship with Jorge's partner, and as later investigation would reveal, Manuel and this partner kidnapped and later killed Jorge because of this love triangle.
The girl that this guy liked, the girl that this guy moved away from his family from, was in another relationship with the other guy, and the other guy killed. Bro, see, this is what. You can't trust
He
these.
would have gotten away with it as well, if not for the Street View images.
Yeah, he literally would have gotten away with it if the Google Street View car did not drive by him. And oh my god,
that was nothing short of a miracle. You see, the town of Tahueco has fewer than 50 residents, so there were no
Wow.
eyewitnesses to Manuel putting Jorge in his car.
50 people
Additionally,
live there.
the Google Street View car just so happened to be driving through Tahueco for the
Perfect
first time in
time.
15 years.
What?
Both Manuel and his partner
Bro, the Google Street View car that caught him. That was the first time it went to that city in 15 years. On that specific day, on that specific time, they drove by a guy and caught him. If they would have coughed in the morning or decided, I want to watch a YouTube video in the morning, they wouldn't have.
were arrested on November 11th after investigators found more
Good.
evidence linking them to Jorge's disappearance
Yeah,
in their home.
y'all deserve that.
Their arrest also led to the discovery of Jorge's remains in a cemetery about 15 minutes from where the Google Street View images were captured, finally bringing closure to his tragic case.
Man, rest in peace to my boy. That's crazy that the Google Street View caught this guy.
In December 2018, the Brisbane Police Department in Australia received a missing
Australia?
person report regarding 46-year-old Priscilla Bruton. She was an American beauty queen who moved to Australia with her daughter back in 2013 to start a new life.
Okay.
Things were going well for Priscilla. However, during the latter half of 2018, she stopped posting on social media and completely cut off communication with her friends and family back in the US.
Huh.
After months of silence, one of her friends contacted the police, sparking an investigation into her disappearance.
Okay.
But she was nowhere to be found.
So she just
was
stopped
last
talking
seen
to
at the house of her
everyone.
boyfriend, Mark Waden, who she
This
met
is your boyfriend? That's your boy?
during a Zumba class in 2017.
I don't even gotta
However,
tell you, bro.
when
He's
questioned,
creepy.
Mark claimed that they had actually broken up back in June 2018. He also suggested that she went missing on purpose to avoid immigration, since she was apparently overstaying her visa by that point.
Bro,
But this
what?
wasn't enough to convince the investigators of his innocence, as they also found Priscilla's car just 11 miles from his home. With no other leads, police began to consider the possibility of a potential homicide, and
Oh.
that's where they made a grim discovery. Priscilla was, without a doubt, dead. Even more shockingly, she was buried in Mark's front yard. Cadaver dog.
Nah, bro. Nah. This dude buried someone in his front yard. Okay, first of all, why would you do that? Every time you go outside, you're going to be thinking about it. Every time you mow your lawn, you're going to be like, oh God. But even, that's not even the main point I want to talk about. How do you do it? How is that? Where does this guy live? Are you able to just go outside and just drop a body, dig a huge hole, and have nobody want?
Dogs helped pinpoint her exact burial location near the home's entrance, prompting an excavation to recover her remains on June 8th, 2019. Wow. However, while the investigators did find some evidence from the dig site, most of the body was completely missing, which didn't seem to make any sense. As it turned out, Mark caught wind of the upcoming excavation in May, hired a construction crew to dig up the area with Priscilla's remains, and transported it to an unknown location with a trailer. What he didn't know, however, was that his crime had been captured on camera long before the investigation ever began. In August 2018, a Google Street View car mapped the Bracken Ridge area around Mark's home. And as it passed in front of his property, it captured what appears to be the very grave he dug for Priscilla, right where she was eventually buried. It even showed the trailer he would later use to hide the evidence. This, combined with testimonies from neighbors who saw him digging in the yard at unusual hours, made it impossible for him to play dumb and get away with his crime.
This guy got caught.
He was finally arrested on the 13th of June and is currently awaiting sentencing while under house arrest.
He's on house arrest for killing somebody? Okay, nah. Nah, bro. Australia is crazy.
Sometime in 2018, Google updated the street view in the Ecatepec de Morelos municipality in Mexico.
What the hell is that? What is that? Why is there just houses on top of houses on top of houses on top? What is going on here?
Among the many new snapshots were the pictures of this rather unassuming empty lot with bags of trash scattered around the overgrown plants. However, those trash bags concealed a horror beyond what anyone in that neighborhood could have imagined. The truth came to light when the local police investigated a string of disappearances in the area and noticed a few similarities. All of the missing individuals were women, they were all young, and most importantly, they had all received calls and messages from the same woman before their disappearance.
Oh yeah, see that's messed up. No, if all of the women in an area are all the same age, and they're all women, and wait, what? If all the missing people in an area are all women, all the same age, and they all got a call from the same person days before they went lock that mother trucker!
28-year-old Patricia Martinez. She lived in a house just 100 meters away from that empty lot with her 33-year-old husband, Juan Carlos Hernandez.
Yeah, Juan Carlos Hernandez.
The two made a living by selling clothes, food, jewelry, anything they could right outside their home.
Lock
On
that
the
mother
surface, they
trucker
appeared to
up
be a perfectly
right now.
normal couple. But despite their seemingly ordinary lives, authorities kept an eye on them for weeks, suspecting that there was much more going on behind closed doors. Then, on the 4th of October, investigators saw the two walking outside with a stroller. They suspected the stroller was carrying the 2-month-old daughter of a missing woman who had vanished together with her mother a month prior. Hoping to prevent any harm to the baby, the investigators moved in and apprehended both Patricia and Juan. However, when they inspected the stroller, its contents left them in disbelief. Instead of a live child, it contained the dismembered remains of a woman. The couple was headed to the empty lot near their home to dispose of the evidence of their horrific crime. But this was only the tip of the iceberg. As the cops searched their home, they discovered dozens of dismembered human remains stored in their fridge, wrapped in plastic bags, and some encased in cement. The cement bags in their home also matched the ones that were scattered throughout the empty lot seen on Google Street View. Soon after their arrest, Juan admitted to everything and revealed the true extent of their gruesome crimes. According to his statements, the two had killed almost 28 women since 2012, including their neighbor's 13-year-old daughter. They would lure poor, vulnerable women with the promise of cheap or free clothes and high-paying employment before ending their lives in the most unspeakable ways and discarding their remains in plastic bags or cement. And if that wasn't bad enough, Patricia also admitted to cooking and cannibalizing parts of their victims as well as feeding them to their dogs. However, the most shocking part of it all was Juan's complete lack of remorse, with him boldly declaring his hatred of women and vowing to do the same again if he was ever given the chance.
Did you just say they cooked? What the? Yeah, see, this is a guy that just... Yeah, you gotta give this guy the death penalty. Lock this mother trucker up right now.
The
Nah.
only silver lining in this entire case is that the baby was unharmed. They had actually sold it to another couple
They
for
saved the
15,000
baby.
pesos, or about
They
$770.
saved the baby, thank God.
These buyers
baby's
were
gonna
later
grow up.
arrested and the baby was
Oh, man.
rescued safely. As
That
for
baby's
Juan
gonna
and
grow up and have no idea what they have been through.
Patricia,
Wow.
they were sentenced to nearly 350 years behind bars, where
350 years behind.
they remain to this day.
Hope you guys are having fun. Once people figure out what you're doing,
If you
you're
go to
dead.
this location in Barron, Wisconsin on Google Street View, you will see cop cars and police tape surrounding this residence.
Okay.
On October 16th, 2018, this Street View car captured the aftermath of one of the most monstrous crimes in Wisconsin's recent history.
What?
It happened a day earlier when the 21-year-old Jake Thomas Patterson knocked on the Kloss residence at around 12:50 a.m. and claimed to be a cop. James
Okay.
Kloss came to the door and demanded to see Jake's badge before opening the door. In a fit of rage, Jake raised the shotgun he'd brought with him and shot James through the door. He then fired another shot to break the lock and enter the house.
What?
Meanwhile, Denise Kloss locked herself and her 13-year-old daughter Jamie in the
No,
bathroom
please,
and
please,
made
please,
this
please.
disturbing 911 call.
Oh.
County 911, where is your husband? Somebody at my farm. Hello?
Can't hear her.
Officers rushed to the scene, but unfortunately, it was already too late.
No.
Not long after the 911 call, Jake shot down the bathroom door as well and opened fire on Denise.
Bro, he shot through the bathroom door. Like, come on, bro. What type of sick...
By the time the officers arrived, both James and Denise were already dead. However, the more urgent concern was Jamie, who was nowhere to be found. It didn't take long for officers to realize that Jamie had been taken by Jake. In fact,
No
one of the responding
way.
officers had unknowingly passed
No
Jake's fleeing car while
way.
rushing to the Kloss residence.
No
As later investigation
way.
would reveal, Jake had developed a sick infatuation with Jamie after seeing her
Okay.
get off her school bus.
Okay. Okay. This is the creepiest thing I've ever. This guy has been watching this girl get off of the school bus. She looks like she's like 14. This guy goes into her house, brings a shotgun, does with the parents, and then takes her. She watches her parents die.
And kidnapping her was his primary motive that night. He took her to his cabin about 80 miles away from her home and locked her in one of the rooms. And while the investigators started searching for Jamie almost immediately, they had nothing that could lead them in her direction. The FBI even put out a nationwide missing person report and offered a $25,000 reward for any information that could lead to Jamie's rescue.
She's 13.
Unfortunately, none of this led to anything substantial,
Nuh-uh.
and the hope of finding her alive kept declining with each passing day.
Please tell me
But
she was
then,
found.
on January 10th, 2019,
Please tell me she
the
was
Wisconsin Police Department received a call they never expected.
Please.
Douglas County 911.
Oh my god.
Hi. I have a young lady at my house right now, and she says her name is Jamie Kloss.
As it turned out,
What?
Jamie escaped Jake's cabin 88 days after her disappearance and asked
Yo, 3 months locked up in this guy's cabin, and she escapes and runs to somebody's house. Dude, that's a crazy
for
story.
help from one of his elderly neighbors.
So how did she come up upon your cabin? I was walking my dog, and we were almost home, and she was walking towards me, crying, saying, "You gotta help me, you gotta help me."
She pulled off this remarkable escape by carefully studying Jake's routine for weeks, tracking when he left and how long he was gone, waiting patiently until the perfect opportunity revealed itself.
That's so
After getting in contact with the
crazy.
police, she told them everything she knew about her kidnapper, resulting in Jake getting identified and arrested following a traffic stop.
What a dumb...
Jake stood trial on May 24,
He's dead.
2019.
He's going to
He
jail
pleaded
for...
guilty to all charges
Lock
and
that
was given
mother
2 life
trucker!
sentences without the possibility of parole, plus 40 additional years in prison.
Yep, you deserve that. Dude, that's crazy. What
February
a crazy
2011,
story.
a Google Street View car captured.
Wait, what was it? Oh, the Street View version, or the Street View part was because you could literally see that there was tape around the
What
house.
looked like an
Rest in
abduction in
peace.
progress
Rest in
in
peace,
Sao
yeah.
Paulo, Brazil. It shows a burly man saying something to a woman while she's trying to get away, while a car with an open trunk is parked nearby.
Oh, God.
The next slide shows the man restraining the woman, while we can also see another man strangely sitting in the car's trunk. And the next slide provides a clear view of the scene,
Yeah, this
showing
is
the man
messed
in the
up.
white shirt seemingly trying to force the woman while she bites his hand in what looks like an attempt to break free.
That's crazy.
However, the final slide is even more unsettling as it shows the parked car driving away with neither the woman nor the man in the white shirt visible anywhere. Unfortunately, despite the alarming circumstances shown in these snapshots, I couldn't find any additional information about the alleged kidnapping.
What?
No news articles, missing person reports,
There's
or criminal
nothing?
investigation records. It's almost as if the crime never happened, which, given the situation, isn't entirely out of the realm of possibility.
What?
There's a good chance that this disturbing scene has a perfectly innocent explanation.
Could be.
Maybe the white shirt man and the woman know each other, and instead of an attempted abduction, he's simply trying to tickle her.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
This
like...
would explain why he has a cheerful, almost smug grin.
Yeah,
in the
he's smiling, bro.
snapshots, And why she's
I don't
holding
think-
onto her cigarette while trying to free herself from a presumably dangerous situation.
Yeah, low-key, if someone was, like, grabbing me, I wouldn't, like, hold a... I mean, I wouldn't have a cigarette in the first place because that's disgusting. But I wouldn't be holding... Like, if I was holding on to, like, a water bottle and someone's grabbing me, I wouldn't be like, get off of me! You know, I'd go... Get the hell! What's up, dummies? We're about to react to one of the craziest videos I think I'll ever react to. It says the worst serial killers who are still on the loose. It's gonna show us 6 different serial killers. Look at this. Who is this guy? The duder? The duty poopy doodler? Oh, it says doodler. I'm tripping. This guy's on the loose? He's a serial killer? We're gonna find out about people who are literally on the loose. If you've seen these people before.
Pedro Lopez.
Pedro
Pedro
Lopez.
Alonso Lopez, a tall man with a peculiar appearance, a large nose, no upper front teeth, and a
What's wrong with a big nose? Wait, no upper front teeth? Who the hell has no top teeth but bottom teeth? What if you were like in Walmart and you saw someone that was just like, "What's up, dog?" Like no, oh my god, that'd be horrible.
was born in Colombia during a scary time full of fighting between political groups that people called La Violencia, or the violence. His father got killed in a surprise attack just months before the birth while trying to protect a nearby place, so his mother had to raise Pedro and his many brothers and sisters all by
Okay,
herself.
so this guy grew up without a dad. That's why he probably became a serial killer. But let's see how he's still on the loose. That's the main reason I want to see this video. These people are still on the loose. They haven't even been found. This is so creepy, dude. I love unsolved mysteries and stuff like this.
He said
Let's
she
see.
forced him out of the house when he was only 8 after she caught him touching his sister.
What the oh my god. Okay. When I first heard that, I was like, why did his mom force him to leave at 8 years old? That's like so early. Oh, he was messing around.
Walking the streets alone. And during that tough time, he was abused many times, started doing drugs, and had problems with the law when police caught him stealing a car, which led to him doing 7 years in prison only 2 days after arriving there. 4 other prisoners are at him, but he kept quiet about it and instead built a knife from random scraps to kill 3 of them over the following 2
Oh my
weeks, which
gosh.
prison leaders viewed as self-defense to protect.
So this guy got, like, his dad died when he was young, and then he was 8 years old, and he got sent out, then he went to jail.
His life, though they still
What?
added 2 extra years to his time. When he finally left prison, he began traveling across South America, and that's when he started his murders.
Oh
He
my
picked
God.
young girls as targets, killing
Oh
them
my-
slowly, sometimes taking up to 15 minutes.
Oh
Then,
my-
in Peru, local native people caught him attempting to kidnap a 9-year-old girl from her village, so they beat him severely, removed his clothes, and buried him in sand up to his neck,
Why didn't you just, like, eliminate him?
tending a slow death and even pouring syrup on him for ants to devour. But
Pouring maple syrup on his head, bro? If someone did that to me, I'd be like, I love
an
syrup.
American missionary who spread religious teachings convinced them to hand him to police instead, and the authorities simply sent him out of the country to Ecuador without any charges.
What? He's just gonna keep, bro, he's murdered people, and you're...
In Ecuador, he continued killing, and police noticed
gosh.
many girls disappearing, but assumed it involved human trafficking rather than murders. In 1980, though, he tried to take another child, but market leader Carolina Roman pursued and seized him, shouting that he sold kids while the crowd beat him and delivered him to police, who released him shortly after. April brought massive floods near Ambato that uncovered 4 strangled girls' bodies, pushing
my
police to
gosh.
investigate seriously once more. And just 3 days later, Pedro approached a 12-year-old, but she informed her mother, which was incredibly Carolina Roman. She yelled, clutched him, and had merchants detain him until police arrived for a permanent
same
arrest. He
girl?
stayed silent initially under questioning, yet after weeks in a cell with an undercover officer acting as a fellow inmate, he confessed to over 100 killings in Ecuador alone, plus others in Colombia and Peru, for a claimed total exceeding 300. He explained how he occasionally unearthed bodies for imaginary tea parties and stated his motive stemmed from losing his childhood innocence early, so he aimed to strip it from girls too. Police doubted him until he guided them to graves, revealing 53 bodies of girls aged 8 to 13 in a forest area. An Ambato court convicted him of 57 murders, imposing 16 years as Ecuador's maximum. Then,
Bro, 16 years in prison for 57 murders.
he faced knife attacks from inmates, prompting extra guard protection, and despite pushes to extend his stay, good behavior earned him an early release in 1994.
What? What? Why? Okay, I'm never stepping foot in Ecuador. I'm never stepping foot in whatever the hell country. He got out of prison? You have to eliminate
He
this
labeled
guy.
himself the man of the century in a chat, and police transported him secretly at night to Colombia's border, as they feared vigilantes, because victim families offered bounties up to $25,000 for his death. Upon arriving in Colombia without an initial warrant, they placed him under watch in a hotel. Later, a new warrant was issued for another murder, and while he was being transported by van, about 2,000 furious people ambushed the vehicle, forcing the authorities to detour to Bogota for safety. Examining doctors noted personality problems, but not enough mental illness for therapy, and by 1998, once deemed sane, he gained release on low bail of about
So how is he still on the loose? Did he end up escaping?
about $70 if he reported regularly and saw a therapist, but he fled immediately. From then, we
Oh
just
my
have
gosh.
unverified sightings in Ecuador, including a visit to his poor mother for cash that she refused, leading him to steal and sell her mattress and chair before vanishing.
Bro, he got out of prison. Then he went to his mom's house and he was like, "Can I get some money?" Even though he's like killed 300 people. And then he stole his mom's mattress and her chair and
The
sold it.
police issued warrants in 2002 for a new murder case that seemed similar to earlier ones, and they also investigated possible links in 2012, but none of those leads went anywhere.
So we don't know what happened to this guy. This is him? This is Pedro Lopez? Hold on. We still have like 4 more crazy cases, but dude, I gotta see what happened to him. Yeah, so this is him, Pedro Alonso Lopez. Look at this picture of him. This is the guy. These are some of his victims. Oh my gosh, bro. This guy is a weirdo, dog. And he's still on the loose? He was officially convicted of 110 different murders, but he claimed to have killed over 300, but they haven't been found. So he has been found. Like they found 110 little girls. A bunch of rumors claim that he's living in Tolima Department, Colombia as a homeless man in Bogota, or even that he was murdered after some of his relatives put a bounty on his head. What? So they don't know where this creepy guy is who's killed 300. This is a picture of him praying to God once he got released from prison in 1994. Dude, what? Wow. All right, let's see what else, crazy other people who are still on the loose.
The Freeway Phantom.
All right, the Freeway
On an ordinary
Phantom.
evening, a 13-year-old girl left her home in southeast Washington, D.C.
Oh, don't tell me it's gonna be another person who's killing little girls. What is it with little, bro? I love little girls, bro.
To buy groceries. She never came back. 6 days later, her body was found without shoes on a grassy hill.
Bro, this little girl went to go get groceries and she never came back. And then she was found without her shoes.
Beside I-295, behind St. Elizabeth's Hospital. She had been sexually assaulted and killed. No one knew it yet, but Carol was the first victim of a man who would soon be known as the Freeway Phantom. A few months later, a 16-year-old disappeared while walking to her summer job. Witnesses saw her getting into an old black car with a man driving, but no one got the license plate number.
Oh.
11 days later, her body was found only 15 feet from where the first girl's body had been discovered.
Put
The
a camera up or something, dude.
killer had chosen almost the same spot, as if to taunt investigators. Again, she was fully dressed but missing her shoes. Then came 10-year-old
Bro, the people are fully dressed when they're found. These girls are found fully dressed, but they don't have shoes on. What's wrong with this guy? Is he selling their shoes? Is he weird with feet? Come on.
Brenda
dude.
Faye Crockett. She went to the store and never came home. And that night, her family received 2 terrifying phone calls. Brenda
Really?
was crying and saying a man had picked her up and that she was in a cab heading home. Then, in the second call, she asked, "Did my mother see me?" and said she was alone in a house with that white man. During that call, heavy footsteps could be heard in the background. Then she said, "I'll see you," and hung up. Hours later, a
No
hitchhiker found her body.
way.
Police
No
believe the
way.
phone calls were staged and that Brenda had been forced by her killer to make them in order to confuse investigators. Then, after yet another murder, the press gave the killer his name, the Freeway Phantom. The next victim was different in some ways, though 18-year-old Brenda Denise Woodard had dinner with a friend and caught a bus home around 11:30 p.m. The next morning, her body was found near the Baltimore-Washington Parkway.
Wait,
She
so
had-
this is a random guy that goes by the name of the Freeway Phantom who has murdered multiple girls, and don't tell me he's still on the loose. I'm gonna kill it. I'm
been
gonna find
stabbed
him.
and strangled, But this time, she was still wearing her shoes, and inside her coat pocket was a note. It was written on a piece of paper torn from her school notebook. It said,
Oh my
"This is
God.
tantamount to my insensitivity to people, especially women. I will admit the others when you catch me if you can. Freeway Phantom." The word tantamount caught detectives' attention, as it was formal and not a word most people used. After this, almost a year passed, and then yet another victim was killed. Then, out of nowhere, the murders just stopped. The investigation pulled in every major law enforcement agency, DC Police, Maryland Police, and even the FBI. But it soon became one of the most frustrating unsolved
Bro, they can't find him? There's gotta be a way to find him, bro. Y'all suck.
cases. Files went missing, evidence was mishandled, and every promising lead fell apart.
Files went missing? Yo, somebody is on the inside.
Detectives interviewed hundreds of suspects, and one inmate even claimed to know who had committed one of the Freeway Phantom murders and shared details only the killer would know under the agreement of remaining unidentified. But when a politician told the story to the press, the inmate shut down and refused to talk again. Years later, suspicion fell on a man named Robert Elwood Askins, who had a long and disturbing past. He poisoned prostitutes with whiskey laced with cyanide, killing one, and days later stabbed another woman to death. He was declared insane and sent to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, the same hospital near where the first victim had been found. After his release, he murdered again and was later convicted of more assaults. Also, when police searched his home, they found court papers in which a judge had used the word tantamount, the same unusual word from the killer's note. Co-workers also said Askins liked to use that word often. But even with all that, no physical evidence linked
I think that's evidence. Who says
him
tantamount?
to the Freeway Phantom murders. Askins denied everything, saying he could never do such things, and he spent the rest of his life in prison for other crimes and died there in 2010. More than
Damn.
50 years later, the Freeway Phantom case is still unsolved.
So we're never gonna know who the Freeway Phantom was.
A $150,000 reward still stands,
150K, bro. I'm about to do some research.
and the case remains open. The
All right, let's
vending
see the
machine
next one.
killer.
Bro, what? The vending machine killer? Bro, I would kill somebody too if that was my options. What the hell? What would you even? I don't want any of that. What is that? UTI? Isn't that a urinary tract infection?
A
They
man
sell
in
that?
the city of Fukuyama picked up what looked like a free
Bro, it's literally in China.
drink on top of a vending machine, an Oranamen Sea energy beverage, and took a few sips. A month later, he was dead. The drink
What? I told y'all should not be drinking
had
that.
been poisoned with paraquat dichloride, a weed killer so strong that even a tiny amount can destroy a person's lungs, kidneys, and other organs within days. That one bottle began one of Japan's most frightening unsolved cases, the
Japan.
paraquat murders. At the time, paraquat was easy for anyone to buy, as people only had to say they needed it for their crops. As the months passed, more people fell ill after drinking from bottles found near vending machines. In total, 13
Why are you drinking a bottle that you find next to a vending machine? Like if I went up to a vending machine and I saw a pretty full like Pepsi and I really wanted a Pepsi, I wouldn't be like, oh, there's a Pepsi right here, so I don't need to buy one. No, I would still buy my own Pepsi. I'm not touching somebody else's drink.
15
It's
people
disgusting.
died, and 35 others became seriously ill. The investigation was extremely difficult. There were no fingerprints, no witnesses, and no security camera footage showing who did it. Japan had more than 5 million vending machines at the time, and it was impossible to keep an eye on all of them. The victims had nothing in common either. They were men and women, old and young, from different areas. There was no ransom note, no letter, no
Wow.
clue, and no explanation. It seemed like the killer murdered simply for the sake of killing. The authorities started a nationwide safety campaign. For example, in Tokyo, people received leaflets warning them about what was happening. The police never found a strong lead. The Doodler. In San Francisco,
Okay, I
a
gotta see
young
what this
man known
is.
only as the Doodler hunted gay bars and nightclubs across the city. He would sit at a table sketching portraits of men on napkins or scraps of paper, using the drawings to start conversations. Not long after, those same men would be found dead, stabbed multiple times, and left near the edge of the Pacific Ocean.
So this guy would go to like a nightclub or a bar and meet people and he would draw them and he'd be like, hey, I drew you. And he'd try to like be smooth and then he'd kill them.
After multiple killings, investigators began to realize that the murderer was targeting gay men, and that the fear of police discrimination might be why the community was silent. Police eventually had a suspect, a young black man between 19 and 25 years old, tall and thin, who matched the descriptions of 3 men who had survived being attacked. Each of them had met the suspect in gay bars, and each said he had drawn their portraits before stabbing them. It looked like the case could finally be solved until all 3 survivors refused to testify in court. The
Why?
reason was that in the 1970s, being openly gay in San Francisco could destroy a person's career, reputation, or safety.
Wow. So these people who were like gay, I guess, they were too scared to like tell the judge what was wrong because they didn't want people to know they were gay.
One
Bro.
survivor was a well-known entertainer, and another was a foreign diplomat, and speaking out meant being publicly outed. Without witnesses willing to testify, prosecutors had no case. The suspect, believed to be the doodler, was never charged, and his name was never made public. Then the killing stopped out of nowhere. Some believe the doodler moved away. Others think he was arrested for another crime.
So he literally got away
Or
with
simply
it.
stopped killing as he grew older. In recent years, modern DNA testing has given the case new life, and the San Francisco Police Department reopened the investigation, offering a $100,000 reward and releasing an updated sketch showing what the doodler might look like today.
That's the
likely in his late
doodler. More like the diddler. What's up, dummies? So we're about to react to 8 most disturbing things caught on dash cam footage. This video has 21 million views, and look at this. Apparently somebody caught on their dash cam a guy who parked in the middle of the road and was coming up to them with a freaking bat, about to probably kill them. This is gonna be insane. Some creepy things that people captured on their car's dash cam. Try not to get scared. Let's go. Okay, here's the intro. Most disturbing things caught on dash cam footage. I am actually
This first dash cam
creeped out.
video was captured in Australia. Two men in
Australia?
a Mercedes are driving down the highway when, through their rear dash cam, a car is
Oh, yeah.
quickly approaching.
Somebody's coming really
It
quick.
then swerves around the two guys before getting in front of them and slamming on the brakes,
Oh, this is
clearly trying
weird.
to run them off the road.
This is weird.
But what first could be written off as road rage soon takes a more serious and disturbing turn. The two men notice the driver has an axe and is now
What
waving
the-
it out his window and threatening them.
What the heck? Somebody pulled in front of them and they're threatening them with an axe. What? And the creepy thing about this is I've actually been here. I've been to Australia. This didn't happen to me, thankfully, but what the?
Oh, he's got an axe, dude.
Oh, look at this.
What are you doing? Oh. Keep distance, bro.
Oh my gosh. What are they doing? Like, what are you supposed to do in this situation? Do you like start driving away? No, they're just gonna chase you and hit you. Do you stop? No, they're gonna get out of the car. Like, what do? You really would hope that there was a cop somewhere around here. Also, this looks like GTA 5 next to North Yankton, or that military base or whatever. I just noticed. What is this guy doing though? He's telling him to pull over. Okay, now he's driving away, but this guy's chasing him. Now he's trying to hit him. He's trying to hit him.
Call the car. Yeah, oh, now.
Yeah,
The
you gotta
sudden
call
and
the cops.
unexpected encounter forces the two men to take a quick U-turn to lose the guy, but he continues to follow them. The situation is then
Weird.
taken even further when the two use the next exit and approach a roundabout.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. He's about to hit them. Look at the good thing we have the rear view camera right there so we can see all angles of this creepy guy with an axe. Oh my god,
Keep
dude.
driving. Holy.
Yeah, good thing he has a dash cam.
yeah.
Good thing he has a dash cam, bro, because if this happened to me, I don't have a dash cam. My car's old. I drive an old car. Bro, I'd be like, man, what the? You got no proof that he hit you, you know what I mean? Look at this. Like, this is creepy because, oh, he's gonna hit him again. Yep, he's gonna hit him again.
Oh my god.
Dude, what is this guy doing?
Two times the Mercedes is rear-ended, the second of which causes the attacker to spin out, sending him off the road.
Like, what is he doing this for? I'm pretty sure we're gonna figure it out, like, at the end of this clip or whatever. But, like, what are you doing this for? And what do you do? Like, you just have to keep on driving while trying to call the cops while you're driving. Like, it's illegal to be on your phone while you're driving, but you have to, because, like, you're just like, and then you try not to crash yourself. This is a crazy situation.
This allowed the two guys to get away. They would then drive to the nearest police station where they would report what had just happened. When police arrived at the scene of the crash, the car was gone. However, a few hours later, they would find the vehicle on the road, and from there, the driver was arrested.
Ooh, they arrested him.
Later, the owner of the dashcam footage would give the video more context. Apparently, the driver chasing them, for whatever reason, was 100% convinced they had robbed his house the night before.
What?
But obviously this wasn't the case. The two guys had never before even seen the man.
Yeah.
It was determined that he was under the influence of something.
Yeah.
He would be charged with multiple offenses.
Oh, the thing is that I just realized, in Australia, you drive on the right side of the car. So it seems like he's in the passenger seat right now, but no, he was actually driving, because you drive on the right side in Australia. I was doing that too when I had a rental car there. It was insane. It was weird to drive on the right side. But yeah, this guy's driving while swinging an axe, which makes this even crazier.
Which put him in prison for 2 years.
Prison for 2 years. Wow. Okay, here's the next clip. These are just gonna get scarier and scarier,
In
by
August
the
of
way.
2018, Justin Bilton and his 70-year-old father were camping at Glacier National Park in Montana.
What the hell's going on? Volcano?
They had only been in the park for 3 hours when they were informed of an immediate evacuation of the area. A forest fire ignited by lightning the previous night had gotten
Jesus.
too far out of control. However, by the time they got the evacuation notice, unknown to them, the only
It was
road out
too
of the
late?
park had already been engulfed by the fire.
Oh my God, the only road out of the park is already engulfed in flame. What do you do in that situation? Do you just drive through and hope that there's only a little bit of fire blocking the road? Or do you just, because what if you, like, where are you supposed to go? You know what I mean? If you keep going, do you get lit on fire? Or will your car explode because of the gas in the tank? This is crazy to think about. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, like, you think?
What? Dad, what if the car blows up?
That's what I'm saying. Bro, that's insane. He said, Dad, what if the car blows up? And he said, well, then we're dead. Wow, what do you do in this situation? Do you just wait and wait for the fire to just kill you? Or do you just book it like 100 miles per hour through?
Dad, this is insane.
I know. We don't want to get trapped in here.
Right.
Easy, easy.
Oh my
We're good, we're good. Slow down, slow down. Big rut here. Just slow down. We're out of that fire.
We're not out of that, Dad. We're not out.
Oh, man.
We're good, though.
Wow.
What?
Wow. Oh, you just gotta drive right through it.
Easy,
Oh.
easy. Can't see. Just go easy now. Easy.
Dad, the car's heating up. It's gonna explode.
Oh my God.
Dad, what if a tree falls on us?
You're good, bro.
Please, God, help us.
Wow, this is creepy.
Good. You're doing good.
This is actually so creepy right now.
Dad, we can't get out.
I'm getting out. You can't drive backwards. I can
Yeah.
get that out of the road. We get gloves.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't go backwards.
Dad, we gotta get out of here.
You can't go
A
backwards.
fallen tree is seen directly in the middle of the road,
Oh, there was a tree in front.
trapping them inside the park. They had nowhere to go but back, so they ended up reversing through everything they had just went through. When they reached their campsite, they abandoned their car and desperately started running towards a nearby lake.
Oh, true. Yeah. Get rid of the car and just try to run your way. Because you can, like, jump over the fire, I guess, but you can't really drive your car through the fire. You know what I mean? So you're just going to have to say, forget the car, bro.
By some miracle, there they would find 2 park employees in a boat on the shore of the lake.
Wow.
Justin and his father were rescued and taken to safety, leaving everything but this horrifying footage behind.
That is actually so creepy. So they had to leave the car, but they actually survived. That's creepy to think about if you were in
This
that
dash cam
situation.
footage shows the armed robbery of a cab driver.
Oh, man.
The driver, Ralph Valletta, had just started his shift. This was his first ride of the day.
No
He
way.
was stopped at a light, and the rider can be seen in the back slouched down.
So this is a cab, like a taxi cab driver. His first drive of the day, and he gets robbed.
But abruptly, he sits up and demands Ralph give him everything
Isn't
he
there a
had.
cop in the back? Look, wait. He's trying to rob this guy. There's a cop right behind him. This is a stupid robber.
Down. But abruptly, he sits up and demands
Look
Ralph give him
behind
everything
you.
he has.
This is a robbery, man. Give me all your money, man. Man, I don't. Give me everything you got. Give me it now. All right. I need it now. All right. We can make this the easy way, or we can make this the hard way, man. Everything I got, man. Keep your hand where I can see him. I just started. What else you got? I just started. Let me see your wallet. Let me see your. I don't have anything in my wallet. We can do this the hard way, or we can do this the easy way, man.
This is messed
Let me see
up.
your wallet, and let me see your form. I need it all right now. If you don't want to die, man.
Oh my God.
Okay. Give it all to me now. Okay.
Unbeknownst to the rider, a police cruiser was stopped
Yup.
at the same light directly behind them. At some point during the robbery, the light to the lane they were in had turned green, and seeing that they weren't moving, the officer put on his lights and got out to investigate.
Don't have anything in my wallet. I don't carry your wallet and your phone. I need your wallet. No, please
Oh
don't
my
put my
God.
phone. I need that for my. There's a cop behind us. There's a cop behind us.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He got him. Wow.
Almost immediately,
Wow.
the officer would realize that a robbery was taking place.
Right in front of him.
So, in response, he would order the rider out of the car, where he would then be detained.
Wow.
The rider was arrested and later charged with multiple offenses.
Wow. That is a creepy dude. This has been 3 for 3 so far, or 4 for 4. I don't know how many we've seen. These have been crazy so far, bro. These are actually super disturbing.
In April of
Wow.
2021, a man named Mitch Kuhn was driving on the highway back from work when he saw this.
Whoa.
A child that looks to be wearing
What
a
the-
large jacket, or that's possibly wrapped in a blanket, begins walking out in the middle
What
of
the-
the highway, just
Get out
barely
of the
missing Mitch's
road!
truck. Mitch was towing a trailer and felt that if he abruptly stopped, it would cause an accident. So instead, he opted to call the police,
Bro-
reporting an unattended child walking on the
Bro
highway.
didn't even stop. Didn't even call the
Police
cop.
assured Mitch that they'd send out patrol units immediately.
Hopefully
An
this...
hour later, Mitch called again for a follow-up, as well as to offer the footage he had caught on his dash cam. But he was told that it wouldn't be necessary, as the child had been collected safely and was on its way home. However, strangely, police would later state that no child was found, despite officers searching the area until 3:45 a.m.
Wait, what?
Additionally, they would claim that at no point did they tell Mitch that they had found the child. The next morning, multiple volunteers commenced a search of the area, but no child was ever found, and therefore the search eventually ended.
They never
At the time
found
the
this
footage was
kid?
captured, there were no reports of a missing child in the area.
So, do you guys think this is paranormal? This could be a ghost?
It remains unknown who exactly was captured in this video.
Oh my gosh, that's actually a little kid, bro. It kind of looks weird. Like it, oh, okay. I think I see a face right here, like an ear and a forehead and a bun on top of the head with like a blanket. This has got to be like a 6-year-old kid. They never found out who this was. That's creepy!
This dashcam footage was captured in the streets of Taiwan. Right away, it's clear the video takes place in the midst of a storm.
Yeah.
A storm where the winds are strong enough to throw around debris. At one point, debris is even seen flying against the windshield. But little did the drivers know that an actual tornado was forming right behind them.
Oh
and
my
quickly
God.
heading in their direction.
Yo, this is gonna show a live tornado. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The tornado. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Nobody was hurt, by the way, YouTube.
The dash
See,
cam
everyone's
footage
okay.
captures the exact moment the tornado went directly through them. It was even strong enough to lift vehicles off the ground, which can actually be seen with the white van that pulls out onto the road.
Yeah, nobody was hurt. The vehicle just moved a little bit,
leave the
YouTube.
ground, and it begins to get full-on dragged by the tornado, seemingly disappearing. But once the tornado passes, it can be seen much further down the road, wedged in between 2 trees.
Nobody's
More
hurt.
concerning, however, is the person that gets thrown by the tornado on the right side of the road.
They weren't hurt.
Unfortunately, the storm would go on to produce further damage in the form of 50 inches of rain that
Damn.
would cause multiple deadly landslides.
50 inches is huge. A lot of rain. All right, here's the next one.
This
These
video
are just
was taken
scary
in
and
Russia.
scary.
It shows the dashcam footage of a man driving down a desolate and long stretch of dirt road.
The thumbnail. Remember this?
Then, up ahead is a car parked in such a way so as to block traffic. 2 men with baseball bats begin walking up to the driver, and that's when it becomes clear that this is a robbery, and the parked car was an intentional makeshift roadblock.
Bro, run him over!
The driver tries to escape, but the 2 men get in the way and do their best to prevent it.
Run him over! Bro, run him over! I'm running someone over if they're trying to rob me with a bat. Now, if they had a gun, probably like it's harder, but they have a bat. Just run him over.
Fortunately, the driver had a window of opportunity and took advantage.
Ooh,
He
yeah.
slammed on the gas and was able to get away unscathed.
Good job. Yep.
Then drove around the roadblock
Good
and was
job.
free.
That's a horrible roadblock. Good job, dummies.
It's unknown if the 2 men with baseball bats were ever caught.
Really? So they probably did this to someone else too. That's so creepy, bro.
In late November of 2015, a large catastrophic bushfire broke out in South Australia.
Look at how dark that is.
This dashcam footage was captured by one of the fire trucks responding
Wait, this
to
is my birthday, bro. November 25th. Look at that. 2015. What? This was on my birthday in Australia.
Right from the start of the video, enormous smoke clouds are shown, depicting just how large the fire had gotten.
Wow.
As the trucks continue forward, visibility gradually worsens. It gets so bad to where the fire trucks are forced to stop.
Oh my God, look how dark it is. It's the middle of the day too. It says it's 13 o'clock, which is 1 p.m. Like it's literally 1 p.m. in Australia in this video. And look at how dark it is. It's literally smoke covering the whole
In the
Oh my
distance,
gosh,
the fire
bro.
itself can be seen.
Wow.
Running towards them unnervingly fast.
Oh God. Wow. Oh God. Oh God. Oh my God, are you guys okay, bro? Oh, lock in. Oh, that's fire. That's actually fire. Oh my God. What do you do in this situation? Oh! 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 Damn!
A miscommunication between the 2 trucks resulted in a collision.
Who cares?
The truck in the front was attempting to back up out of the fire, while the truck with the dash cam was entering what's known as a burnover.
Who cares about crashing the truck when you're about to get burnt to a crisp?
A burnover is a fire truck protection protocol where the truck stays in place and the crew deploys Velcro blankets to protect themselves from the heat.
Oh.
Water is sprayed outside of the vehicle to keep it from catching on fire.
Okay.
And in the inside, breathing masks are used by the crew. During this protocol, however, the crew from the truck in the front can be heard desperately explaining how they didn't have water for a burnover.
Oh.
Or rather, their truck's sprinkler system wasn't working properly.
Ah. No water? Oh my god, Mayday. That means like
They
we're
couldn't stay in
dead.
place and were forced to drive forward in the hopes of escaping the fire, which you can actually see in the video as the truck fades into the distance. Fortunately, this move would end up saving their lives.
Really?
They would make it to the other side of the fire. And everyone inside the truck, as well as the one with the dash cam, would make it out with minimal injuries.
Thank the Lord. Let's go. They survived. Dude, these are creepy, bro.